and Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect once again. I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. Yes, it's been a bit of a long day here around Uganda. Congratulations to the Uganda Cranes upon their 1-0 victory over Guinea in the FIFA World Cup qualifiers there, the qualifiers for the 2026 edition of the FIFA World Cup. So, Alan Okello, their own strike or own target for the Uganda Cranes through a free kick there. Very, very impressive free kick that he did take that eventually turned out to be the match winner for the Uganda Cranes. So congratulations to the Uganda Cranes for that wonderful performance. Very quite defensively, they were solid and everything was all good. But without wasting any further ado, let's dive into right today's topic, which is the FIFA Club World Cup. I've received some few questions here and there and comments regarding the FIFA Club World Cup that did replace the old format where the UEFA Champions League winner, the Copa de Libertadores, the CAF Champions League winner, and among others would go ahead and meet and then play, a couple of games here and there, and eventually one would win the FIFA Club World Cup. Well, that format has been changed and expanded to 32 teams that will be grouped into 8 teams for a piece for those teams from across the world. Of course, from Africa, from South America, from North America, from Europe, from Oceania, and all that. So from Asia, all those clubs will be joining there. All the other teams in the USA this summer for the FIFA Club World Cup. The extended format, like I mentioned, will be will have a total of 32 teams. Those 32 teams will be in groups of 4 each. That's A to H, and each group will have 4 teams. They'll play 3 group stage games, and then, of course, 2 teams from each group will advance to the knockout stages. That's the round of 16. So this FIFA Club World Cup format is similar to the previous edition of the UEFA Champions League. That edition lasting until the end of last season, that Real Madrid went on to win by 2 goals to 0, beating up against Borussia Dortmund in the finals there. So in that format, we all remember 8 groups. All teams would now. The difference between this FIFA Club World Cup and the UEFA Champions League is that teams would play each other home and away. Well, contrary to that, this time around, there's no home and away because they are all going to be in a neutral country, at least so to speak. The competition is going to be hosted in the United States of America across, I think, about 11 different cities. That's where the competition will be played. So what that implies is that teams will be playing, I think, 3 games, 1 apiece, or there won't be a home and away at the group stage level. It's you get your opponent, play them once, and whoever wins, and at the end of the day, we'll have a table tally for the group stages, and the top 2 teams will advance to the round of 16, which will be the knockout stages. Now, the competition will be played across a period of 1 month, and it has its implications. Financially, there's a lot to play for. Physically, in terms of number of games being played by players, of course, that adds to their pile of load at the time when we've already had players complaining about the amount of games that getting to play. Lodri being one of those, among others, that have voiced their opinions or concerns over the increasingly accumulating number of games that they have to play across the calendar year. Well, it looks like that federations are not reducing or doubling down on that traffic of games that players do have to play. It looks like they are piling on. So here is one of the different groups or the different teams that will be participating in the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. Like I said, that will be hosted in the United States of America. And the catch, the prize winner will walk home with about $125 million. That's possibly more than what the UEFA Champions League winner previously was pocketing home. I do know for a fact that last season, Real Madrid walked away with about 85 million euros across the entire campaign of the UEFA Champions League. While the new format of the UEFA Champions League kind of changes that and increases that money to potentially go to as much as 102 million, euros. Again, we'll wait to see. Sorry, dollars. We are waiting to see what the eventual winner will pocket, because all that is graded in different formats. There's money you get for wins, there's money you get for a draw, qualifying for the round of 16, qualifying for the playoffs that we initially saw, in which Man City played the likes of Real Madrid, in which the likes of PSG played the likes of West, and all that kind of thing. So there's also that. So all that contributes to how much you win eventually. But here is one of the different groups in this year's FIFA Club World Cup. In Group A, we have Al Ahly, we have Inter Miami, we have Palmeiras, and AFC Porto. In Group B, we have Atletico Madrid, we have Botafogo, we do have PSG, that's Paris Saint-Germain, and Seattle Sound, or Seattle Sounders. Then we do have Auckland City. This is in Group C. We have Bayern Munich, we have Benfica, and Boca Juniors. That's for Group C. In Group D, we do have Chelsea, we do have ES Tunis, we have Flamengo, and we have Lyon. Not the Olympic Lyon. This one is Lyon, Leon. And then in Group E, we have Inter Milan, we have Monterrey, we have River Plate, we have Urawa Reds. That's to complete Group E. In Group F, we do have Borussia Dortmund, we have Fluminense, we have Mamelodi Sundowns, and we have Uslan. I hope that's how it's pronounced. Forgive my pronunciation for some of these names. I'm actually getting to pronounce them for the first time. And then in Group G, we have Al Ain, we have Juventus, we have Manchester City, and then we have Wydad AC there. And then lastly, in Group H, we have Al Hilal, we have Pachuca, we have Real Madrid, and RB Salzburg. So those are the 32 teams in the different groups that will be competing at the FIFA Club World Cup. Like I said, it's going to be a 1 month tournament. The final is slated for 13th July. That's 2025. But the first games will be played on the 15th of June. That's in the aftermath of the European season that we all know does climax with the finals of the UEFA Champions League. Remember, it's the road to Munich this year, and we all know what the quarterfinals do have in package for us as far as the UEFA Champions League is concerned this season. Arsenal up against Real Madrid, PSG up against Aston Villa, and then Barcelona there in that mix, up against, I think, Borussia Dortmund, then Inter Milan up against Bayern Munich. So those are the fixtures that you do have for the quarterfinals of the UEFA Champions League. So in the opening fixtures, or on the opening, the opening fixtures for the FIFA Club World Cup, that's for match day 1, will be as follows. Al Ahly will be up against Inter Miami, Bayern Munich against Auckland City, PSG against Atletico de Madrid, Palmeiras up against FC Porto, Botafogo up against Seattle Sounders, and then Chelsea up against Lyon. Boca Juniors will be up against Benfica, Flamengo will be up against ES Tunis, Fluminense will be up against Dortmund, River Plate will be up against the Urawa Reds. Ulsan will be up against Mamelodi Sundowns from South Africa, while Monterrey will be up against Inter Milan. Manchester City will be up against Wydad AC. Real Madrid will be up against Al Hilal, and then Pachuca will be up against Red Bull Salzburg. Al Ain will be up against Juventus. That's for the match day 1. Now, like I said, this is a new tournament. The FIFA president, in Gian Infantino, the Switzerland international, did come out to announce that there's a whole $1 billion to play for the clubs that are going to be participating in the tournament, with the eventual prize winner set to walk away with at least $125 million at the end of the tournament. So that's at the end of the tournament. So how this money does come up is that it's in a cumulative format. For every stage of the competition that you do qualify, you receive a certain amount of money. But for the winner at the final, for as far as winning the final goes, that one is priced or given $40 million. Now, by the virtue of the fact that you're a finalist, that's the two teams that reach the finals, all teams get $30 million each. And then when you win the final, you get another $40 million. So it's a structured format. And so that's why I'm saying that the FIFA Club World Cup winner is set to earn up to, so it's not cast in stone, you get, is set to win up to $125 million US. So in total, it's $1 billion to play for the 32 participating clubs. And then there's a target of $250 million that will be issued out in solidarity of club football across the globe. Now, all this will happen without FIFA having to touch its reserves in terms of its coffers to pull out money to fund or inject into the tournament. Then the other thing is that FIFA are not keeping any money or any penny out of this tournament. Guys, do let me know if I'm audible now. In case you're not hearing me, do leave me a comment down so that I adjust my mics in case we are having glitches. But I'll take the assumption that you're all hearing me. Like I said, the FIFA won't be injecting in any new money from their coffers, and then FIFA will not be benefiting or taking money out of the tournament. So usually what federations do is, for example, when they organize, let's say the Euros, and let's say they make a total of $2 billion, usually the federation, that's the European Federation or UEFA, will keep some money out of that run its other activities from that particular tournament. Well, FIFA is saying out of this FIFA Club World Cup, they won't be taking anything for themselves. All money will be going into the clubs, and that is according to to a statement issued by the Federation of International Football Associations, that's FIFA. So just to read you as part of the statement, here is what it says, or that article, what it says. In line with the budgetary principles of the FIFA Club World Cup and following fruitful discussions with the key stakeholders, including the European Club Association, as well as the approval of the FIFA Council, FIFA has confirmed the distribution model for its new club competition that includes $1 billion prize money for 32 participating clubs, plus a substantial and groundbreaking global solidarity model. Now, the groundbreaking solidarity model is the $250 million that I have been telling you about, that will be issued out to the rest of the clubs across the globe to support club, football development. So, in the words of FIFA president, that's Gian Infantino, about this particular incident, this is what he had to say. The distribution model for the FIFA Club World Cup reflects the pinnacle of club football and represents the biggest ever prize money for a football tournament, comprising a 7-match group stage and playoff format with a potential payout of $125 million that is foreseen for the winners, said the FIFA president in Gian Infantino. So you get to play the group stages where you play 3 games, then you play the round of 16, then you play the quarterfinals and the semifinals. That's a total of 6 games. Then when you reach the final, you play 7 games. Like I was explaining to you, there's no home and away in this competition, given that it's going to be the tournament in itself is perceived to be hosted on neutral ground or on that's away from home for most of these teams. So it's in the United States. So he goes on to say that in addition to the prize money of the participating teams, there is an unprecedented solidarity investment program where we have a target of an additional $250 million being provided to club football across the world. This solidarity will undoubtedly provide a significant boost in our ongoing efforts in making football truly global. Then he also further notes that not only that, but FIFA will neither return any funding for this tournament, as all revenues will be distributed to club football, nor will it touch FIFA's reserves, which are set aside for global football development throughout the 211 FIFA member associations. Now, remember, FIFA is a composition of the different footballing associations across the world. For example, in Uganda, we do have the Federation of Uganda Football Associations. Maybe in Cameroon, they have football something, the respective country federations. So they combine together to form the Federation of International Football Associations that governs football across the world. So that is what I was explaining earlier, that all the money out of this tournament, FIFA will not retain a penny, and neither will they touch their own reserves to invest in this particular tournament. So there's that. The distribution model for the 2025 edition will comprise of the following pillars. So, like I said, this money is distributed in different pillars or formats. There's money for participation, there's money for playing, and then, for example, when you play all these games, each different stage of the tournament that you advance to, there's money to be won at that, and I will be breaking down it for you in a few. So there's money for participation for the different clubs from the different continents. And excuse me, the total prize money put $1 billion comprised of sporting performance pillar. Now there are two pillars. There's the sporting performance pillar and the participation pillar. So participation pillar is the first criteria, but that by your mere participation, there's money that you do earn for participating in the tournament. Then the performance, the sporting performance based pillar is determined by how you perform and how far you go in the tournament. So as far as a participation is concerned, there's a total of $525 million that will be distributed among the 32 participating clubs. Now, this money is also this money is distributed according to the continent from which you come from. That's how it's been categorized. That's for participation. For example, the lowest in earnings for participation will be clubs from Oceania. They will be getting $3.58 million for participation. Clubs from Africa will be getting $9.55 million each. Now, this is for each club, not for all the clubs coming from a particular continent, but for each club. So, for example, Mamelodi Sundowns will get $9.55 million for participating. Al Ahly will also get that, and things in that nature. And then in Asia, they'll also get $9.55 million. Clubs from North America, Central America, and the Caribbean will also get $9.55 million. Clubs from South America, that's the Boca Juniors, Fluminense, Palmeiras, those kinds of clubs. These ones will be getting $15.21 million. Now, one would wonder that why is it that way? Because remember, even the different leagues across the world are graded. That's why you hear the top 5, European leagues. That means you're talking about the Premier League, Spanish La Liga, Italian Serie A, German Bundesliga, and the French League 1. But remember, you also have the Scottish Premier League. You do have, football in Hungary. You do have football in Russia. You do have football in Belarus, like in Poland. You do have football in Switzerland, and all that kind of thing. So they are grading according to price in terms of, league strength. So in South America, clubs from South America will be taking $15.21 million each for participation. And then clubs from Europe will be taking home between $12.81 million to as high as $38.19 million. Now, I do suspect, again, this is benchmarked, for example, on the coefficients of the size or magnitude of these clubs still in Europe. So, for example, Real Madrid will possibly take more money than Celtic. Let's say if Celtic are in the competition, they will take more money than Celtic, because one, Real Madrid are the reigning champions of the UEFA Champions League, so there's that. You suspect that Manchester City, the 2023 UEFA Champions League winners, will again, maybe take another big fee as compared to maybe a Chelsea that last one, this one, I think in 2021 under Thomas Tuchel. So when they were beating up against Chelsea in the final, that goal by when they were beating up against Man City, that goal by Kai Havertz, and that kind of thing. So there is that. So in the second format, or the second pillar, is the performance-based pillar. And this is what I was briefly explaining earlier on, that when you reach the final, you get $30 million. When you win the final, you get $40 million. But here's how it goes. So, for example, in the group stages, there are 3 matches, like I said. For every match you win, so let's take an example that PSG beat up against Atletico Madrid. So that means PSG have won. For every match you win, you get $2 million for a win in the group stages. And for a draw, you get $1 million. What does that mean for losing? Why should you be paid for losing? You don't get a penny. So if you win all 3 games at the group stages, that means you've won $6 million in total. $6 million. So that's the catch. So when you advance to the round of 16, at the round of 16, you get $7.5 million for reaching the round of 16. Then for reaching the quarterfinals, you get $13.125 million. And then for reaching the semifinals, you get $21 million. And then for reaching the finals, you get $30 million. And for winning it, you get $40 million. So let's assume you've won it. You have a 40. By the virtue of the fact that you won, you had already reached the final, you got another 30. That's $70 million you get. So that means you went through the semifinals, where you got another $21 million. So 70 plus 21 is $91 million. You reach the quarterfinals, you got there at $13.125 million. So in total, that's what? That's $104.12 million. Then you have what you got at the round of 16, the 7.5. That's 111 something million dollars plus the 6. If you won, let's say, all your 3 games, you get that puts you at $120 million. So, and all the other nitty-gritties that may be thrown in there. So, and then add that to the participation fee. I mean, there's a lot of money to be played for among these clubs that will be competing in the FIFA Club World Cup. Now, of course, the other confusion that's been there is how teams get qualified, or how teams were selected to participate in the FIFA Club World Cup. Well, they looked at things like how far back they looked. I think in the last 4 or 5 years, that's how far back they went in terms of you winning either the league and the continental competition. So, for example, the UEFA Champions League, we know, or reaching the finals and winning the league and reaching the finals. So Borussia Dortmund were at the finals last season with Real Madrid. PSG were at the finals. That's in 2020 when they lost to Bayern Munich by 0-0. Then you have teams like Inter Miami, so they look back that way. So there are different considerations anyway. So that one, I won't bet my hand on it. So I stand to be corrected on a few particulars for the criteria, but at least that's some of what they looked at in determining to who goes on to participate. So you're talking about teams that have been winning their domestic leagues. Mamelodi Sundowns. I think the last time Mamelodi Sundowns won the CAF Champions League under what's the name of the former coach? I forget. He went on to go to Al Ahly there in Egypt. But Mamelodi Sundowns did win the Africa Cup. Sorry, the CAF Champions League, and so they find themselves here. Let's find out anyway. When did they win the CAF Champions League? Yes, in 2016. In 2016, that's when they won the CAF Champions League. But I mean, different criteria. So that's the picture I can paint for you as far as this FIFA Club World Cup format is concerned. That's all that you need to know. It's in a similar format to the previous UEFA Champions League, but the difference is that here teams won't be playing home and away. They'll be playing because previously a UEFA Champions League winner or finalist would play a total of 13 games, 6 at the group stages, and then the 6 between round of 16, quarterfinals, and semifinals, and then eventually the final. So this time around, the difference is that in the group stages, they are playing 3 games only. That's the only difference. And then you move up the ladder. Do let me know what you think about this format, what you think about the motivation. But like I said, what this implies is that players won't get more resting time, especially during the summer, because usually what happens is that end of season, players go into the summer break, for which they get at least 1 month, especially when there are no international competitions like the Euros, when there is no AFCON, when there is no Copa America, when there is no CONCACAF, and those kinds of things, or the Asian Cup, when all those are not there. So they go and take a 1 month break, and then somewhere in mid-July or early July, after the first week of July, they return for their summer camps, for their summer training in preparation for the new season. So basically what this implies is that once the season gets done, these teams that are going to be participating will go to the FIFA Club World Cup, which does climax on the 13th of July. So when it climaxes, immediately, I think players will be given maybe a week rest, and then they will report back for their respective summer camps. But what I do suspect for most participating teams, they may either have to choose to double down on their summer preseason tours. So, for example, we all know the likes of Arsenal, Liverpool, sometimes Manchester United, Real Madrid, Barcelona have been taking their summer camps to the US. Some go to China, some go to Australia, like that. So I think these participating clubs may review that and say, instead of going for a preseason tour in the United States, we've already been there, or instead of going to Australia, we won't be going. Let our players have 2 weeks off, and then they come back maybe 2 weeks prior to the start of the season, and then we do our training, and then we go into the season. Now, just imagine, take this assumption, for example. Let's use this for an example. Manchester City. Assume Manchester City go ahead and win the FA Cup. When you win the FA Cup, that means you have to play the Community Shield. That's the curtain raiser match in English football that is played between the Premier League winner and the FA Cup winner. So that means you'd have to, again, return on time in preparation for that particular match, let's say versus Liverpool. If Liverpool go ahead to win the Premier League, there's all that to think about for clubs. But it is what it is. It's football. There's money to be made. Clubs want to make the money. Players will be getting paid. They'll get it. they'll be getting their bonuses and all that. So money-wise, there's motivation for everything. For us that enjoy the game of sport, we'll be glued on our screens if the games are available for us to watch. Anyways, allow me to leave it there for you today and wish you a wonderful rest of the evening. Stay blessed, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.